So Noronex, the background with Noronex is we set this up about 4 years ago. So we were deliberately looking to put together a copper-focused vehicle. We'd spent some time in the previous 3 or 4 years, predominantly in Canada, working on various battery metal opportunities. So we went through the battery metal chemistry, if you like, undertook some graphite deals, undertook lithium deals, also worked on cobalt, and some of those became significant companies and were taken out. So what we wanted to do after that was basically focus on copper as a key part of the decarbonisation thematic that the world is sort of working rapidly towards. So we commenced with a couple of assets in Ontario, Canada, which is an excellent place to work, and I've done a lot of work out there. We set those up with our Canadian partners, and through that, the Canadians also introduced us to an opportunity in Namibia on the Kalahari Copper Belt, which spans Namibia and Botswana. This is a really exciting copper belt. It's really starting to light up with a lot of exploration, some new mines being developed, and as far as Africa goes, a couple of the best jurisdictions to work in. So we're excited to put that together. So the strategy of the company is to go into these areas that have district scale potential, and ideally some known resources or deposits. We like to work off at least some sort of base, and then use new technology to go and expand on these. So we're talking about geophysics, geochemistry, new geological interpretations. A lot of the geophysics IP and EM has improved dramatically over the last decade, since there was the previous round of copper exploration, if you like, going back into the late noughties. So we've been putting together these assets over the last 4 years. We listed the company through a backdoor listing, an RTO, into Noronex on the Australian Stock Exchange. Ticker is NRX. The assets we do have existing high-grade JORC resources, and they also have what we think is significant exploration upside from there. Copper as a commodity, it's all about decarbonisation, as a lot of the investors know. The copper supply, is restricted. There hasn't been a lot of exploration success over the last decade or so, and the existing mines are getting deeper and lower grade. So that's a supply side consideration that's important, and on the demand side, there's multiple drivers there, from electric vehicles to renewables, increased global electrification, ESG. As part of building this company, we were lucky enough to pick up some senior operatives from the copper sector. So we have two former senior Sandfire executives on our board and management. So we have Rob Klug on the board. Rob was formerly the Chief Commercial Officer at Sandfire and worked through the setup and financing of the De Grassa mine about 10 years ago. He was there for about a decade and did a lot of their corporate and development work. We also have the former Chief Geologist of Sandfire, Bruce Hooper, and Bruce has been working with us over the last year. First drilled out in Namibia 25 years ago, but loves the Kalahari Copper Belt, and he and Rob were a couple of the key drivers on a deal Sandfire did 3 years ago when they bought a company called Mod Resources for $160 million, which has the T3 deposit, Mateo deposit, on the Botswana side of the border. We have a low enterprise value, and we're fully funded for a 2022 exploration, and we're partway through an 18 to 20,000 metre drill program, which has assays pending and new targets that we're focusing on. So snapshot, 15 mil market cap. We've got cash of 5 mil, good board alignment through the board management ownership. Share price currently around 8 cents. And the balance of the board has a lot of junior resources experience, including in the battery metals and various sort of assets in Canada and Africa. So this is just a quick snapshot on copper. I won't dwell on these ones, but the lack of exploration success is obviously the main reason we're here. There hasn't been a lot of new assets found, and frankly, copper is pretty hard to find. So declining grades. We're focusing on the top quartile of grades, but grades are generally sort of 0.4, 0.5% and below. And you can pick your analysts. They all have various forecasts on copper. They're all bullish on demand. Goldman Sachs are talking $15,000 copper price, and pick your analyst if you like, but directionally they're all rowing in the same direction. So where are we? This is a map of Southern Africa. So Namibia in the southwest there. It's a modern democracy. It's one of the least populated countries in the world, and we'll come to that, but it's basically because the Kalahari Desert covers a large part of the country. It's the second least populated country, and that Kalahari Desert cover feeds into some of our exploration targeting, which I'll come to in a moment. We've got great infrastructure. There's a rail line through the projects. We're an hour from the capital, and the Kalahari Copper Belt has been known since the 60s, 70s, but it's relatively underexplored. But it's really starting to light up as a new zone. It spans about 1,000 kilometres from central Namibia into northwest Botswana, passing through the Kalahari Desert. So this is our package, or this is a snapshot of the Kalahari belt. So across the border, which sort of kinks through the middle there. The main players out there are Rio, Sandfire, Kuprick Canyon. There's a couple of mines on the Botswana side. Mateo, which I mentioned, which is being developed by Sandfire. They acquired that 3 years ago and will be in production, I think, next year, if all things go well. Zone 5 is held by Kuprick Canyon, a large private equity fund. So they're both going to be significant operations on the belt. We are across the border, but along the main contact zone, which is where we've been targeting our projects. We started out, the original project was the Witvlei project on the west there. We then picked up the Snowball project last September, and we've also made applications to acquire further ground out towards the Botswana border, the Humpback and Damara. So we've built our land package to about 6,000 square kilometres and covering around 200 kilometres of strike. So we kicked off last August, September with the program on the Witvlei project that has an existing resource, 10 million tonnes at 1.3% copper. Just to give you an idea of scale, the Mateo project has 50 million at 0.9%. So we need some more copper there, but we've started exploring. We're finding a lot of copper along the belt. So the key really is to find areas of grade and width. So we're using all the geophysics tools available. EM, IP is very good for the sedimentary copper, and some new geological interpretations which have come out of a lot of work in the Central African belts, including the Kamoa. So we've just started a drill program on the Snowball project. Now we've wrapped up Witvlei. The Snowball project is basically on a base and margin structure. This is where the geologists get excited about stepping into these potentially large structures. We've got 2 targets we're initially going to drill, which is just commencing as of now. We've just finished IP on those projects, and we're basically going to go and target some significant anomalies. I'll just show you in the next slide. On these 5 lines of IP on the right, we've run across the Henet project, and we're going to, on the left there, you'll see the chargeability in the middle, the large pink blob, if you like, which is where we're going to go and drill a fence of several holes across. So that's this month. Humpback is an application which we've been lucky enough to pick up. It had about 120 drill holes, which we weren't aware of when we applied for it. It was drilled by Kuprick Canyon in a joint venture going back mid-decade, and there is some decent copper out there. It's not part of our resource, but it certainly warrants follow-up around 3 kilometres of strike on the Fiesta project as part of a 15-kilometre larger zone. 8 metres at 2.5% copper with silver, excuse me, is pretty significant and worth following up. We do separately have a Canadian project which we have had in the portfolio since the IPO, or since earlier than that, and we're looking to do a drill program on that. it's one of the largest land holdings in the greenstone belt, the Onomantashita greenstone belt in Ontario. Great place to work out there as well. We've got drill approvals in place. We've got an existing resource out there, 1.6 million tonnes at 1.6 copper plus some gold and silver credits. There's a number of exploration areas. Last summer we did an EM survey, some more geophysics mid-year, and that's defined some new areas along strike and at depth on the known resource, which we're going to go and test, and that is imminent. So hopefully we can provide an update and announcement on that fairly shortly. And we're excited about that one too. There's a lot of activity in the area. One of our neighbours to the north has a project they've been drilling. Their share price has recently increased from 2 cents to 20 cents. Copper Lake Resources, so they've had some luck in similar geology and mineralisation to what we're targeting here. So we've had a busy 2021 and 2022. I guess we're looking to, we're fully funded for an exploration program. We've done over the balance of last year since the listing. We've done a lot of geophysics work, got team in country, managed to get drilling underway in the COVID restrictions, which was no mean feat. And we've acquired additional projects through Snowball, raised some further funds. So we've built out a significant package, and the idea with that obviously is if we do have some success on the exploration drilling, then at least we've locked up the ground around us. 200 kilometres of strike length is significant, so that is going to take a while to get through. So where we are now, we've commenced a stage 1 program at our Snowball project. We're just wrapping up. We've just wrapped up Witvlei. There's assays pending on a couple of deposits there, Okasawa and Dalheim, and we've got a Canadian drill program planned, which is imminent. Based on the results and success of those those programs, we'll then regroup and commence with a stage 2 program probably mid-year, and look to build on it. The target with the company is to get into production ultimately. We think we need sort of a circa 300,000 tonne plus of contained copper to get there. So there's we've got to get 2 or 3 times where we are at the moment, but we'll be exploring aggressively. We'll look at M&A opportunities. Obviously, that's always part of the game in junior resources, and look to grow the company as rapidly as we can off what we think is a pretty low base. So basically, the summary is, we have some great projects here in leading jurisdictions in their continents, Namibia and Canada. If you ask people who've worked in them or you do some research, they're both excellent places to work. We've got in-country teams that have got proven experience there. We've got the right people in the group, we believe, because through the Sandfire Copper team in particular, they have a great background in copper exploration, development, M&A if it gets to that. And we're looking to use new tools, new technology to build out these areas. The geologists are looking for large new targets or exploration wins. So we're not looking at doing sort of small step out style exploration there. They're really out there looking for something significant. And we have some strong news flow coming up with we believe near-term catalysts for share price growth. And we're happy to sort of discuss this further if people want to follow up.